All right, how we doing today, peoples? Today's story is coming from r/am I the a-hole, titled "Am I the a-hole for splitting the bill at dinner and not letting my boyfriend pretend he paid?" I, 24F, have been dating Ben, 26 male, for 8 months. For context, Ben and I are from different income brackets, and Ben has expressed that sometimes he feels a little bit weird about this because he's a gentleman at heart, but he says it's hard to treat me since I'm not really impressed by his gestures. I've said that many times I'm not concerned about these kinds of things either way, but it comes up periodically. Now last night Ben and I went to dinner with 6 of my friends. There were 3 men in total and 5 women. At the end of dinner, the 2 guys, Max and Harry, said they would get the bill, as guys usually do when we're out. Ben quietly said to me that he wasn't really comfortable with the guys paying for his dinner, so I said I'd chip in with the bill. Ben said thank you, but he could chip in and then I could pay him back afterwards because he didn't want them to know that I was paying. This struck me as totally absurd because firstly, it's an unnecessary step. Second, even split the bill cost was something I wasn't sure he could realistically be able to cover. And third, I felt like he was trying to enter a pissing contest with my friends, which was just childish. I said no, and that I would pay and turned to everyone and said I'd chip in a third of the bill. No one batted an eyelid, and Ben was sulking. He's now mad at me because I emasculated him and made him look bad in front of my friends, and I think he's just over dramatizing it because my friends couldn't care less and he needs to get over himself. Am I in the wrong for not letting him save face? Not the a-hole. Sounds like he didn't have the money to afford it and he just didn't know how to tell you. Super weird. Nah, you're not an a-hole, but I think you miss Ben's point a little bit. Blah blah blah, modern society, but in this particular context, as you stated, it was common for the men to pay for the women. Now Ben has been added to the situation and the writing is very clearly on the wall that he's supposed to step up and pay for part of it as one of the men in the group. Outdated as it may be, in that situation your group made it very clear that that was expected. You may not realize it because you're simply used to it, but as a new person joining the group, particularly a new man, there's a lot of probably unexpected pressure all of a sudden with the clear social guidelines. The reason why your boyfriend leaned over to talk to you about it was because of that clear sudden social pressure to chip in as one of the men in the group. I understand where you're coming from because I am also a very much practical woman and this is an impractical situation, as I can see where your solution comes from because in your eyes it's just a matter of helping the friends split the bill. However, in Ben's eyes, it's a matter that amongst you and your friends, the men split the bill and pay for the women. By announcing that you are a woman going to split the bill as well, you've now broken that social construct. And you're probably right that your friends don't really care, but you also know your friends a lot better than Ben does. So in Ben's eyes, it was clear that he as a man is supposed to pick part of the bill, and now his girlfriend made an announcement that she was going to pick it up instead. Again, I don't think you're the a-hole in this situation because I think you simply misread it. However, I do think you might want to sit down and talk to Ben a little bit and let him express himself with what was going in your head at that situation. After reading some of the comments, you are 100% the a-hole. You invited Ben. They were your friends who clearly have money. You went to a restaurant you knew he couldn't afford. At the end of the night, a situation arose where Ben felt like he had to pay or at least be seen to pay because of how your friends pay for the girls. Ben most likely didn't want to look bad in front of your friends, and I'm probably sure that he wants your friends to like/respect him and got put in a position where he wanted to save face/not look broke. Rather than supporting him, you intentionally went, "Nah, I'll pay," and didn't give a dang how it made Ben look or feel. I wanted to be on your side, and so I read that Ben was invited somewhere by you, that he couldn't afford with your friends, and he's the outsider and wants to be accepted. You knew that the guys often pay for the girls before the meal, and this could likely be an expectation. Don't be surprised if Ben refuses to do anything with your friends again. He probably felt set up to a degree. 100% you're the a-hole. Not the a-hole here. It seems as though you have money and he doesn't. It doesn't matter to you, but it does to him. It might seem odd to you, but for people without money, it matters that they don't have it, particularly if he likes you and sees you guys going further. You need to explain to him that your friends would not see anything off in splitting the bill 3 ways, that you didn't emasculate him, assuming that you didn't make it explicitly clear to the table that he couldn't pay, and if you did, you are a massive a-hole. However, you don't want to front him in a money contest with other men. Perhaps because you don't want to have to put your own money up against your boyfriends who sound like they pay easily. So from your point of view, it was better that everybody was paying their own way than you having to pay for him and other people through him. But he also needs to understand that you cannot help him be something he is not, and be proud of the fact that you chose him irrespective of your financial situations. I would also suggest that you have a frank talk about how he would prefer to go out, maybe less fancy places, maybe just for drinks not dinner, so that he doesn't continuously feel that he is lesser than your friends. I think you're not considering how Ben feels at all. I get it, you make more, you run with a richer crowd, and the money is no big deal to you. That's not the case for him. Put yourself in his shoes for a moment. These are your friends and not his. It seems understood that the men will often pick up the bill. Ben is new to the group and possibly did not understand that A, the men would offer, or B, how much it would be, and he was embarrassed. This is not a man/woman thing, it's about a pride and looking like a deadbeat thing. I'm surprised you don't understand that. One group offered to do something based purely on one differentiating characteristic, gender. And Ben also has that characteristic, he's a man. He wanted to participate but couldn't and asked you to have his back, and you said no. I hate lies/pretending/lying to claim to be something you have no right to be, and if this is a regular behavior, I would absolutely be on your side. But in a one-time surprise situation, he asked you to help him save face and you refused. I would go so far as to say that you should have prepared him, knowing the difference in budgets, the men's propensity to pay, and your knowledge of his feelings on the matter. Then he would have been ready one way or another and wouldn't have asked you to fake it. If he had, I would have said he was the a-hole. As things stand though, you're the a-hole. Not the a-hole, Ben has an outdated and sexist vision of how couples should work in terms of who pays for what, and he's too focused on his public image. You probably need a deeper conversation with him about this. And then a comment to that, no, society has an outdated view of who should pay for what, because why didn't the other women pay for their meal? Presumably, everyone went to dinner expecting to pay for themselves. My initial reaction was to say not the a-hole, but the more I read this, the more I come to you're the a-hole. And it's because of one thing you said. You said that the other two guys split the bill as they normally do when you all go out as a group. It sounds like you didn't prepare your boyfriend ahead of time about how the bill is normally paid with your friend group. The fact that the two guys, according to you, always pick up the check means that you were perfectly willing to fall into the stereotypical gender roles previously. But now that you put your boyfriend in that position, rather than help him to conform to the gender role you were fine with previously, you decided that you didn't want to play a game of charades. It honestly sounds like the money disparity between the two of you is not just an issue for him, but for you as well. You don't respect him enough to not embarrass him in front of your friends by revealing his lack of income compared to the other guys. You need to have a brutally honest discussion because it sounds like this isn't a relationship built from the long term. And that's going to be the end of today's story. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Peace.